Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another round of Mind Your Fucking Business with your host, Jeffrey Krentzman.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks, coming to you as always from the beautiful, very frigid studios of Undefeated Media here in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Though. It's not Undefeated's fault.
No, it's not. Here in Bergen County, New Jersey, this is the Mind Your Fucking Business podcast brought to you by both the Bamboozle Project and DraftKings. We thank them for their sponsorship. As always, you can go to the Bamboozle Project, and I'm going to tease something right at the top of the show. There has been a requested item that we add to the Bamboozle Project. It should be up there within the week, so I encourage you to check.
Possibly the end of the day.
Possibly end of the day.
Right.
We'll post something on our Instagram, but it will be up there. And when you get the new item or any existing item, what?
We should do something we've never done before.
Which is what?
If they want to get the new item, they can get 20% off if they use the promo code
MYPB. Yes.
Never done before.
Never done before. Promo code MYPB saves you 20%. This is episode 217. 217. If you're joining us with the SAP features available to you today or whenever you're listening to this episode, we welcome you to this episode. And we are taping this episode, just so you know when we are taping it. We are taping this on Wednesday, January 21st. So that is the 21st. We are live on Instagram this morning. We're back on that. I think they need to turn the screen. You may want to tell them. I could see some people commenting that it's sideways, but we are back up there. You can watch it on YouTube this morning as well, or you can stream the episode at your convenience at any time on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So if you want to find yourself some MYPB talk about your New York Rangers, you can find us. You have plenty of options for you. So we were on last Wednesday, as we usually are. And last Wednesday was the Ottawa game. And I had mentioned this last week that when the schedule came out over the summer, my wife and I and the kids had planned to go to that game because it was my birthday last week. And usually they are never home on my birthday. So we thought it would be a good idea to go. Plans got derailed. My daughter had a school function, and we decided it probably wasn't the best for the three of us to go. So we weren't going to go. And man, am I excited that we didn't go to that Ottawa game. Let me ask you a question if you're listening. And I don't know the answer to this. I guess there's not really a factual answer. It's a matter of opinion. And I guess you could go either way. But 4 days prior to that Ottawa game, the Rangers got destroyed up in Boston. Then they came home. 4 days later, they played that Ottawa game and got destroyed at home to a point where they're down 6-0 to Ottawa. And I'm going to repeat that. They're down midway through the second period, down 6-0 to Ottawa. Which of those two games, the Boston game, the Saturday up before, or the Ottawa game, which was the rock bottom event? I don't know. You could argue that rock bottom happened twice. Maybe they both were rock bottom. I don't know which one is worse. Let's take away some positives from the Ottawa game, or at least try to. And the only positive that I could take away was that Gabe Perreault scored 2 goals in the third period. Whether you like Gabe Perreault or not, and I know Chris is in the chat because I see him there, and he is probably not the number one Gabe fan, but whether you like Gabe Perreault or not, you have to admit that if this team is going to be successful with assets that they built, or they're banking on young people, and yes, this franchise is terrible at this stuff ever working out, but if you go to this current point in time in January of 2026, Gabe Perreault is a big part of the Rangers' future. They're counting on him to be right. They're counting on him to work. So you have to hope that Gabe Perreault pans out, and you like to see that he scored 2 goals in the third period. I understand it's Ottawa. I understand Ottawa's probably playing some lackadaisical defense at that point because they're up 8-2 or whatever it was. But you know what? Let me see Gabe get to it. Let it be. And Chris is saying, if you want to pull up his comment, because I see he heard me talk to him, the bottom one, which is say it right, I hate the overvalue of Gabe the Great. And Chris says that, if you haven't been able to figure that out, with a sense of sarcasm, because he does not believe Gabe Perreault is going to be that good.
So wait, time out. That means it's another high draft pick that we're
if
broke.
If he's right, but if he, again, Chris can be anti-Gabe. I could be pro-Gabe. We both don't know who's right or wrong. We don't have the data. So it's all a matter of perception and guessing at this point. Also, I don't want to get on the guy because today is his 40th birthday. So we'll go a little easy. But Jonathan Quick is showing you, and again, Jonathan Quick, we may be putting something up today on Instagram about Jonathan Quick. And the question is this: is Jonathan Quick the best backup goalie the Rangers have ever had? The answer might be yes. I thought about John Van Beesbrook back in the early 90s. I'd have to think about it a little more. But Jonathan Quick is showing you in the last week, in particular that Ottawa game, why he is a backup. He's 39, or he's 40 years old today, actually, when we tape this episode on January 21st. So he's showing you why. And again, I'm not getting on Jonathan Quick. I don't think you can have the expectation. But for those of you that would come out and say maybe in the beginning of the year, Jonathan Quick should be the starter over Igor, I think you're kind of seeing now why that is not really a realistic play. And Dennis is saying Glenn Healy. Glenn Healy could absolutely be in the conversation as well as a good backup goalie. So it would probably be between Healy, Van Beesbrook, and Jonathan Quick. I could maybe, I'm not going to throw him in there, but the other name that comes to mind from the beginning of the Lundqvist era would be Kevin Weeks. But Kevin Weeks wasn't that good.
Real quick, I apologize because I was trying to fix the Instagram for you. Did you mention, do we have any timeline on Igor's
return? Igor and Fox both skated. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes because to me, I also don't understand why you'd be racing either of these two back. So to me, I don't think you would see either of them until you get to after the Olympic break, if that. All right. The Flyer game. That was the other game that we had circled on the calendar to go. The last 2 years we had attended a game in Philly, let my wife and kids see the beauty that is the Philadelphia sport fans. And we decided, of course, why would we pay that money, drive all the way down there to see a team get your ass kicked by your rival, and the Rangers pull a 180 on you in a trump card and do the opposite? I want to say this just because I don't like Philadelphia sports teams at all. There's not any of them that I like. And I actually also don't think you like Philadelphia sports fans if you're listening to us. Could you imagine? I thought of this, all right? You're a Flyer fan, all right?
Oh, God.
It's a Saturday afternoon. Yeah. You have tickets to go see your team play against one of your rivals in the Rangers. You don't like the Rangers. You have a 1:00 game. Great time slot, right? Yeah. Maybe you bring your kids, maybe you bring your family, but it's a Saturday at 1. Picture this, okay? Yeah. You're going to the game.
Yeah.
You're thinking in your head, this team that I'm going to watch my team play, their opponent sent out a letter 24 hours ago, basically surrendering and waving a white flag. Yeah. I am going to see my team rock their rival and have a great time at the Wells Fargo Center on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you're going to have a great time.
And then the Rangers come out and score 3 goals on 3 shots. Yeah. So if you're a Flyer fan, you're annoyed. And you have every right to be. Good for a lot of milestones in this Philly game. For a season that we don't talk about a lot of positives, there were actually some statistical positives to come out of that. So Brennan Othmann gets his first career goal. It only took him, I think, is it 33 or 34 games to get his first goal? But you know what? You always remember the first goal. You're not going to remember the 33 games before that you didn't score. So congratulations to him. Mika Zibanejad sets the franchise mark for most goals on the power play, which is not the most important stat ever, but it is a really cool stat. I mean, it shows you Mika's impact on a franchise, right? If you're going to lead a franchise overall, 100 years of this franchise, although most of the 100 years, as we know, 96 of them don't end up where you want to go. But if you're going to be in a franchise that's been here 100 years and you have more power play goals than anyone, that's pretty darn cool. So congratulations to him. Spencer Martin gets his first New York Ranger win, but behind 25 saves on 28 shots. And I will say this, if you watched that game in the first half of the third period, in particular, maybe the middle part of the third period, Spencer Martin had to do a lot of work. The Rangers all of a sudden had struggled getting the puck out of the end. So it was good for him to get that. And also for Mike Sullivan on Saturday, the coach wins his 500th game.
Nice.
So congratulations on that.
I mean, we got a lot going for us. We win the 500 game. We won the Winter Classic.
Yes, you're 6-0 all time in outdoor.
6-0 all time.
It's
We got a lot going for us.
It's just, I mean, look, some teams like to win Stanley Cups. The Rangers like to make shirts
Winter
that say
Classics,
we're
baby.
6-0 all time in outdoor games.
We're gonna put a banner up in MSG, right?
Yeah, they probably will. I did see someone made fun of a graphic about that. Actually,
put up the Winter Classic banner.
They should 6-0 all time in outdoor games. All right. The Rangers then go out west Monday night in Anaheim. And, now, like, when you see Anaheim on the schedule, whether it's home or away, you instantly think of Jacob Trouba, Chris Kreider, Ryan Strome, Frank Vetrano, all these guys that played here and are now out west. We put up yesterday a picture, and I was surprised because it had a way more. I knew that you guys would engage with it, but I didn't know it was the amount that you chose to. There was a picture of during the pregame skate where the Ducks had their morning skate on their arena. You see Mika Zibanejad come out to the Ducks bench and talk with Chris Kreider. So it's just like, if you want to get upset about it, there you go. Dennis is talking about another thing that came out is, I guess, when the Rangers were on the ice for their pregame skate, Jacob Trouba had coordinated having clown music play from the locker room that they were in, which to me would signify, not that we need a criminal justice degree to figure out and solve this one, that he is implying that the Rangers are a circus. Now, look, I'm not sure that I disagree with him, but so I think the message is right, but Jacob Trouba, I'm not sure is the right messenger to do that. I mean, Jacob Trouba took a lot of dumb penalties over his career. I liked Jacob Trouba when he was here. I didn't love him. I'm not sure he's the person that should be giving that message, but if he wants to do that, I guess that's fine.
I mean, you can't be salty because you got. We got.
Yeah, I mean, you move on. You move on. I mean, again, I don't like it, and Dennis is saying that Jacob Trouba is a clown. I kind of would agree with that. It didn't bother me. I also didn't find it funny. I'm impartial to it.
So real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're trying to move on, but we need to figure out a song that we can play at MSG when he comes into the building. Like,
we have time because Anaheim won't be back next year.
You smell, you stink. I don't know what songs are out
we'll
there.
Think.
Yeah.
You've got
in
time.
The comments. We need some in the comments.
You've got some time. Matthew Robertson gets them on the board early on Monday night after a shift that actually Jacob Trouba was on the ice and screwed up on, which is also ironic. The Rangers had incredible sustained pressure on the Robertson goal early. They had the puck down there. Anaheim could not get the puck out. Also, Spencer Martin and some of the opportunities that he got scored on, particularly the Mason McTavish goal early. I mean, I don't know what else he could do. But again, those of you that are now sitting here saying, Spencer Martin could be a backup because he won in Philly. Like, again, just because he had a good game, one game, doesn't mean they're able to do it. They go on and they lose. Last night, they're in LA. And I had said to Jess that I'm not planning to stay up for this. But, of course, at 10 o'clock, I'm up, and I'm going to stay up. And 18 seconds in, LA scores. And it's like, what are you doing with your life? Like, it's a Tuesday night. It's literally 4 degrees. Why would I stay up and do this to myself? So, Cooley responds, gets a goal. JT Miller last night had 2 goals, which is good to see. The first goal you should really watch because it was a gorgeous pass from Mika Zibanejad to tie the game. They fall in a 4-3 loss. I'll point out 2 positives, and if you're into statistical stuff, I'll point it out. 36 shots last night for the Rangers. That's really high for them to do.
Outshot them. It was like 36-20.
Yeah, they out for this team to have 36 shots on any night is a good thing. And also randomly, right? Mm-hmm. The Rangers were 71% last night on faceoffs, which is, I mean, normally it's like, maybe 53-47, 54-46. It was 71-29 on faceoffs.
Who was taking the majority of the faceoffs?
Trocheck. Trocheck is, and Trocheck's value we're going to get to in a minute for a team when we talk about the letter 2.0 momentarily. Mm-hmm. Trocheck's value I think it was on the NHL Network that said it. His value is up there because he's such a good faceoff taker, but he's not responsible for all 71%. All right.
Got to have the puck to shoot the puck.
There you go.
There you go. Put that on a shirt.
Hockey 101 with Dougie Sticks, everyone. I hope you brought your notepads. It'll be a pop quiz in 20 minutes. All right. Friday afternoon, the Rangers come out with letter 2.0. All right.
Mm-hmm.
In the spring of 2018, I had season tickets like I do now, and we received a letter from, at the time, Jeff Gordon. And it basically said, and I haven't gone back actually and reread it in the last 6 days or 4 days, but I'm pretty sure I have a good recollection of what it was. Jeff Gordon sent Ranger fans a letter that basically said, look, we're not doing well. We're going to go through some changes, and some of the changes might involve people that you like, but it's a necessary thing to do. On Friday afternoon, the Rangers sent a letter to season ticket holders. And there are people out here, by the way, that are saying that season ticket holders didn't get this letter. That is entirely incorrect. I'm a season ticket holder, and I got it. The Rangers followed the time path on Friday afternoon. They sent it to the season ticket holders, and then they posted it to social media after.
True.
It is 100% factual. I have the timestamp on my email that I got from Chris Drury, because it came from Chris Drury, actually, ironically.
Chris Drury himself.
I mean, I'm sure it was from his staff.
Press the send button.
So we got it, and then about 4 or 5 minutes later, it was posted by the New York Rangers to their social media accounts. That is the accurate timeline.
Because other accounts posted it too.
Yeah,
like
which is fine. But people are saying that season ticket holders didn't get the letter. We did get the letter. I have it in my email from the team. Anyway, all right. So to me, and we did one of the rapid reaction videos where I was in my car, actually at my real job, but I think the first thing that you would want to see, it's not going well. The 2025-2026 season is not going well. I'm not breaking news by telling you that. What I like about it is this. You're admitting that you have a problem. You are saying, I am cognizant to the fact that things here are not working. I would rather the Rangers do that, even though it's blatantly obvious to anyone that there's a problem, because I wouldn't trust this organization to not go out and be buyers in 6 weeks at the trade deadline. This is how things work. Now you're telling me, and I'm relieved as a season ticket holder because I'm spending money on you, to know that you are sitting there and you are saying to yourself, look, we know we have a problem. We're going to make changes. Now, one thing about it that I didn't like is that they used, and they were specific in this, that they said, we are not going into a rebuild. They actually said that. They said this will be more like a retool than a rebuild. Now, my definition, if I gave you the definition of what I think a retool is and what I think a rebuild is, I would say, look, a retool is not the road you go down when you're at the fork in the road and you can go left for a retool or right for a rebuild. You need to go to a rebuild. However, and I thought about this right away, and I'm going to stand by what I say when I say this. There's no concrete definition out there of what is a rebuild, and there's no concrete definition of what is a retool. So one man's rebuild, which is what I would like what the Rangers are, what I would like them to do is rebuild, might be their definition of a retool, right? Nothing is set in stone and concrete.
True.
Why I would think the Rangers are sitting here and also using the word retool and not rebuild is, what did they do a year ago? What did they do 13 months and 2 weeks ago? They signed their goalie to an 8-year deal in the prime of his career for, at the time, the richest contract in NHL history for a goalie. You're not going to say, I'm going to go in a rebuild while I just spent all this money on a prime product in the prime position of that, the most important position, for us to go into, quote, a rebuild. So that's why I think they're using the word retool. I don't know what the difference definition-wise is between the two. I know that a rebuild would be more extreme than a retool, but I'm not gonna get on the wording of it. I like that they are at least sending the letter. Do I like getting this letter in January? No. I'd rather get the email I get in January from them saying, look, here's how the playoffs are going to work. Here's when your payments are due. I'm not getting that email. I got this one instead, and I don't like it. But I like the fact that they're addressing that they have a problem.
So there's a lot of construction terms being thrown around here. Nothing's concrete, right? Concrete. Rebuild, retool. So let's break it down in construction terms. If you're doing a rebuild, you're like rebuilding the house. If you're doing a retool, maybe you're getting new tools and you're replacing tools, aka players.
True.
New tools, new players, new coaches to use the tools to build your
Mhm.
house.
Now, the other thing is it is not normal
Yeah.
in professional sports for a organization to send this type of letter to season ticket holders, which is now the second time in 8
Mhm.
years I've gotten it.
Okay.
The other thing is I am a season ticket holder for the Knicks.
Mhm.
I sat through the Jeff Hornacek years. I sat through the I don't even know where else I want to go here. What other coaches could I mention on that team?
Literally everybody in the last 20 years.
What's his name? Mike Woodson. I never got that letter. I never got a letter from who at the time I believe the general manager for the Knicks was Steve Mills, who now is in a different role at MSG. But the Knicks never sent it.
Pretty ballsy letter. Like,
It
hey,
is.
we stink. So I got a question for
Yes.
you. In the past, we've talked about these letters that you've gotten, and it's like, hey, you know, we've won the President's Trophy, so next year your tickets are going to be a little bit more expensive, right? So they're like, hey, we done this. Guess what? Your ticket's going to be a little bit more expensive. We did this, we did that, right? So, hey, we stink and we need a retool. Are we going to get a little
No.
sales?
Here's how it
Get a little
works.
sale. We're going to get a little price deduction.
Here's how it works with this. And the MSG is super consistent with this. Dolan has a rule that if his team does not make the playoffs, they do not raise the prices. So the Knicks, when they were not in the playoffs for so long, my tickets
never rose.
They never rose.
So you think that's fair?
I think it's absolutely fair. I actually agree with it.
No,
but
they should never go up. But like,
no, but they go up when you make the playoffs
exactly.
every year.
So President's Trophy happens and probably went up. Like, then we expect that product the next year. We didn't get that, so they should go back down.
It doesn't go back
They should
down.
go back down.
It's not. But you know
should
what?
Stay there.
You would like that, but you know how the world works. That's not just the Garden. So the Ranger tickets for us will be the same face value next season because they're not making the playoffs. They won't raise it. And the other thing that I've got to figure out is what am I doing? Am I renewing all 14? So I have 4 tickets, and I see Dennis is watching. He will appreciate this. I have 10 tickets that I really like. Yeah. I have a set of 6 that I'm obsessed with. I would sit there every game. When we go with the kids, if we're not using those 6, they're upset. They want to be in those 6. Then I have another set of 4 that I've had for years that are pretty good too, right? I bought 4 more tickets in the offseason because someone at the Garden had said magically, like, wow, these 4 tickets are available. Would you like them? I can't believe they are available to you. They are just not a good sightline. So I need to find a way to they call it relocation. You have relocation appointments over the summer. I'm going to have to see if I can find a way to relocate those 4 tickets. And if I can't, I might have to go a different direction on those 4 tickets. But I'm assuming I will because people are not going to renew. Here's the other thing that happens now. When you have a bad year like this, people don't renew. And then, right? Because you don't want to pay $120 for a
beachfront property.
Right. You can get something else. All right. So
time out. You have 10 tickets? 14 tickets? 10 tickets?
I have 14.
All right. And 4 of them are you want.
4 of them I don't love.
Everything else is good.
The other 10
4
are
of them
fine.
we need to maneuver. All right. Gotcha.
Yes. So we'll take some Instagram comments. Lips, and I like his Ranger show. His stuff's been coming up on my thing. With all the guys locked up to 2030, what choices do they have? There's no clear prospect to build around a rebuild. Hopefully they can acquire 1 or 2 at the deadline and maybe just hit on a draft pick. All right. So, which leads me into the next point. On Friday, it also comes out later that day that the Rangers spoke with Panarin in a meeting with Chris Drury and said, look, we are not going to extend your contract, meaning that if you are here at the end of this season, you are going to become a free agent because we're not going to give you an extension beforehand. Artemi Panarin spoke about it, and I guess he was asked about it, which I was impressed that he spoke about it, but he acted very, very confused, like he didn't understand why this would be the case. And Artemi Panarin's not dumb. Like, you have an agent. I mean, I've never met the guy, but you kind of can understand the writings on the wall, and we've all been saying this was going to happen. So I don't know, like, why he was trying to come across like he was acting surprised. Like, well, I don't know why they would do this. I'm just going to keep playing. Well, no, you kind of do. You're 34. You're going to be a free agent. You understand that things here are not going well. Why would they hold on to you? My worry about Panarin is you got to try and move him sooner than later, because if, God forbid, he gets injured, all of his value is gone. You can't trade him. Then he's here till the end of the year, and he walks in a free agent. If I'm Chris Drury, I'm trying to move him sooner here than later. I don't want to sit here and wait on this. I don't even want to get to the point where it's the Olympic break where you have 3 weeks where he's not playing, because Artemi Panarin's not playing because Russia's not in the Olympics. But I would be moving Artemi Panarin as quickly as I can.
So it probably should have been done by now, right?
I don't know if it should have been done by now.
Right after the letter.
There are rumors out there, and again, I don't know what's true or not, that the Capitals have contacted the Rangers about Panarin, which I can't see, because him and Ovechkin, they don't have this similar political views in Russia, and obviously Panarin has a history with Tom Wilson, so I don't know that Washington is a good fit for him. Colorado was who I've been thinking all along. I saw that they contacted them. But he can under no circumstance be here. The amount of people that said to me in the last week, well, I don't know why you would move on why would you move on from Panarin? He's their leading scorer. Yeah, he is. But look at the situation. If he's here until the end of the year, why does he need to be here till the end of the year? He's had there's no reason for him to be here. The Rangers aren't going anywhere. You might as well move him and get something back from him. It also came out, and I said this, I think it was last week when we were here, that Trocheck has also not had the greatest year. I understand he got hurt in that Pittsburgh game in the beginning. I would trade Trocheck in a heartbeat. Please go look at Trocheck's contract. And why I want you to look at Trocheck's contract is not to look at what he's getting paid right now in January 2026, but knowing that he is a human being and he's only going to get older each year. And so normally as you get to where he is in his age range, you start to regress a little bit. Go look at his contract in the back end. If I could find a team to take that salary cap relief, not just now, but also like 2028, 2029, 2030, I would trade Vincent Trocheck in a heartbeat. And if I'm Minnesota, and you've seen Bill Guerin this year go out and do two very, very bold moves. He signed Kaprizov. He re-signed him already to a huge deal. I mean, a huge deal to not let him even hit the free agent market. And then he went out last month and traded for Quinn Hughes when everybody, including myself, thought Quinn Hughes was destined to come here to New Jersey and didn't. So if I know that Bill Guerin will make a move, and he even said, I'll do whatever it takes to get this team to win, and Bill Guerin and Chris Drury work together on Team USA, they're friends, Vincent Trocheck could very well end up in Minnesota. And if I'm Vincent Trocheck, I would want to go there. That's a great spot to go. You've got a chance to win.
I love you're trying to sell it to him. He's going, yeah, it's great
Here,
over there.
It's
great over there.
I'll pay his airfare on United to get to Minneapolis, St. Paul.
So I want to go back, but Alvin says plot twist. Panarin's agent just got Boris. I don't know if that's a joke or that's real or that's irrelevant. But let me ask you this: if we talk to Panarin, hey, you stunk. We've stunk this whole year, whatever. Is there a number or a contract that you would be happy with for him to stay, like a year for $1 million, right? Or do you just want him gone?
Right now, he's gone. If you want to talk to me in the offseason about him coming back, that's fine. Trocheck, and you guys are talking, Sean's saying this on Instagram, and I'm going to disagree with Dennis. Centers have a lot of value, right? And Minnesota can actually use the center. Go look at their roster. Trocheck does fit there, right? Gags is saying that Pittsburgh might be calling about Trocheck. Look, I don't really care as much with these guys where they go. I care about the return. So I'm not sitting here saying all right, I sound like I'm selling him to go to Minnesota. If another team came across that wasn't as good as Minnesota, but they were giving the Rangers a better return, send them there. I just want that. I just want to return. And Dennis, I'm not looking for a center to replace him right now at the end of the season. I'll deal with that in the offseason. I'm not going the Rangers aren't going anywhere right now anyway. So if they don't have a center and they have to call up someone like Berard for a change or someone from Hartford to give him time, it's fine.
So, and I think I'm kind of leaning with Dennis here. He's saying like we have no one to replace them. Center, if you get rid of these players, these two in particular, are we getting something like are we getting something back that's worth it at the end of the day? What are the possibilities?
So the possibilities, and this is also what are you going to do?
Ooh, look at that. Yeah, I like that comment.
Yeah, you do. So what? Yeah, but you don't like the comment underneath it. So what you have to also ask yourself as a Ranger fan is, do you want them to get back picks where you historically screw them up, or do you want players? And right now, I don't know the answer. I don't know.
But this seems like the common thread. It's like, oh, they're not like Mika's not hitting his one time, or like get him out of here. But like, what is our?
Oh, you're gonna set Chris off if he's here. Bring up the Mika
what are we gonna replace him with? Rem Sanity? Like, what are we gonna replace him?
Rem Sanity, by the way.
Yeah. Oh.
Did you see what happened?
No.
Healthy scratched.
Wow.
Like, hello. Now it took 2 years to realize this. So I don't know what you want back, like what the preference is in picks or players, because obviously they're both risky. You're not going to get back. Here's the thing. You can't, you're not, if you trade a guy like Panarin or you trade a guy like Trocheck to a team that is making a run at a Stanley Cup, which is why they're acquiring them, they're not going to give you back a player that is very good. Hence why they are thinking they are going to make a Stanley Cup run. The people that are going to take on the players to make a Stanley Cup run are more likely to give you back a pick. The other thing with that is if you make the playoffs the way the draft order works, it's a lower, like, let's say it was a first-round pick. Let's say you moved Panarin for a first-round pick, and I don't think you'd be able to do that. But let's say you were. It's highly likely it's a lower level first round pick because that team is going to the playoffs. That's why they want Panarin in the first place.
And full circle moment right here. Like, you're getting rid of Panarin for like 2 first round picks or whatever it is. That's a rebuild. That's not a retool. You're like literally getting rid of your like big pieces. That's a rebuild.
So some of you guys are saying on Instagram, and I cannot agree with you more. I mean, trade Lafreniere for bag of pucks. I don't even know what you would. It's hard for me to assume right now what Alexis Lafreniere's value is. I don't know. They've run. So we'll take Joe's comment. One thing that pisses me off is that they've run Gavrikov into the ground. Gavrikov has played a lot this year. It wouldn't surprise me, Joe. And I actually love now the Gavrikov signing. I was kind of like on board with it, but I didn't know a lot about him. I like him. I wouldn't be surprised with Gavrikov as they get into more like meaningless games in March if he gets a rest. So, and Chris is here. I'm surprised he didn't pan in on the Mika one-timer comment that you've just made. Pan Allen. We're gonna get there in a minute. All right, let's combine the two. The Pan Allen group.
The Pan effect.
So again, my wife likes the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
So she's used to what happened the other day. She wasn't overly upset about it. And so the joke is Pan Allen is Panarin and Josh Allen together because they both don't perform in the playoffs. Although Josh Allen had a pretty decent game. I mean, he should have got them to score in overtime when he had the ball, but whatever. Here's my question. All right.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a Buffalo Bills fan where for the last 8 years you make the playoffs, some of them you get so close, like the Kansas City overtime game 3 years ago, the Bills end every year in heartbreaking fashion. I said this to my daughter. We were watching the game the other night, and I said, I'm telling you, Abby, it's going to happen. This happens every year, and it's exactly what happened. Would you rather be the Buffalo Bills, you have a good year, and you get close, and you get eliminated in heartbreaking fashion, or would you rather be the New York Rangers and be sitting here kind of like almost at the 2/3 mark of the season, and I'm trying to think about next season already? Which is better?
I think that's an easy question. I much rather have my heart broken one day in the playoffs, like that one day heart, we lost, but like whatever, rather than a whole season of misery and pressing the panic button every goddamn day. I much rather be
that
something to root for.
So
if there was a Giants game this week, and I'm not like looking at like, well, obviously we're in the playoffs, but if the last 3 Giants games, like Giants, Jets, whatever, like I have no interest in going. There's nothing to go. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing to root for. Whereas you have a whole season you're rooting, and I think the last game of the season for the Bills was like important, like was like had to do with seeding. So like you're at the game and you have something to root for, rather a whole season. You're debating on not going to games.
But you're saying that the heartbreak, like your point is, well, the Bills. I would rather the Bills. I have a good regular season, which I completely agree with.
Go to games.
But then where I would disagree is where you said. That, and we will get to the championship picks. I could see you guys. I see the comments, Jeff Adelson. We'll get there. It's not a one-day thing. Like I still think about that Florida series a year and a half later all the time. I mean, not even the Tampa series from 3 years ago or 4 years ago when they lost in 6. I think of that Florida series. I think of the Alex Wenberg goal in Game 3 in overtime. And I think of Mika. I think of them being up 1-0 in Game 4 and Mika hitting a crossbar in a power play. And I think of how close they are. It is now, let's see, it is 19 months later. No, 20 months later. I think about it all the time. Whereas this Rangers season is brutal to go with. And I was talking with your producers here before you came in about, like, what are we going to do here in March? Like, I don't even know if we're doing game recaps.
That's my point.
And you're right. I just don't know which is. They're both bad.
You can't have low lows without high. So that season was a good season, and you remember the heartbreak building up to it. You're like, yeah, this is great, great. But and then your heart was broken. I'd rather that than this season. You're not gonna remember anything. In fact, like like there's times where I'm like clicking through, like, what am I gonna watch? Like, oh, the Rangers are playing. It's like 50-50 shot if I actually want to tune in or not. Because like, what am I tuning into?
I'm going to take an Instagram comment real quick, and that's Matt Lopez, who's saying that I'm insane that Panarin easily goes for a first-round pick. His value, if anything, is increasing. If teams want to trade and sign Panarin to an extension, Panarin easily commands a first-round pick. Yeah, what you're banking on there is that he's signing to an extension. I'm not banking on that. And if he doesn't sign an extension, I don't think you're getting a first-round pick for him for a rental. I hope. Look, I would love you to be right, Matt. I'd love to get a first-round pick, but I don't think he's getting one, especially without an extension.
So it just – for the people, not me obviously, but everyone else who doesn't know. So like you can trade him for just like the playoff run and then the season's over.
Because season's over right now, he has no contract. So you're either a team would probably rather sign him to an extension. Yeah. But I don't think that that's going to happen. It would be better for the Rangers if they did, because then his value is higher when you're moving him because the team is getting him for more than 2 months. But anyway, I think about that I think about that Saturday night. I think it was June 1st, 2024, when they lost to Florida in Game 6. And I remember sitting outside in my driveway. It was like a nice night. It was a Saturday. I remember because I did like the post-game recap from outside. But I remember sitting out there for probably a good hour and a half. And I was just like staring at the sky. It was like a clear night. It was a nice night in June. And I remember thinking that, like, this hurts. And this is a different type of pain this year that we're going through with the Rangers, because they're not good.
Yeah. So, like, that pain for the hour in the driveway, I feel like it's better to feel that, like, oh, we were almost there, rather than, do I really want to watch this garbage for a whole season? Like you're debating 3 times this week. You
put up Joe's
comment. I'm not going to the game.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to go to the games?
I get it. I just don't know which pain is worse. Joe was saying that Saturday night they got eliminated. I was up on the Cape with all my buddies, was so upset and got ripped. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And yes, Panarin, best signing in franchise history. We can pull that up, because I have said for a while now, because obviously the Artemi Panarin tenure on Broadway is coming to an end. It is imminent. That Artemi Panarin came here on July. I remember this. I was boarding a plane, and it's funny because Dennis is the one who's saying this. I got a text from Dennis. It was 11:52, 11:53-ish on July 1st, 2019. I was boarding a plane to Denver, connecting to Salt Lake City for work. And I remember waiting at the gate in Newark, and I got a text that they were getting Panarin. And since then, think, and I know Chris is going to say Adam Graves, and that is a fair argument. He might be right, but I'm going to stick with Panarin because every year Panarin was here, he led the team in points. He got to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. And I know you're going to sit here and say, well, it doesn't do anything in the playoffs. Or Tommy Panarin in the playoffs sucks. And then I'll say to you, well, he did score an overtime winner in Game 7 to advance. I mean, that's kind of an important goal, but he sucks. He sucks. And I'm going to disagree with you because I still think Artemi Panarin is the best free agent signing in history. But
so I'm going to give you a quote that kind of sums this up, like kind of answer your question. It's better to have loved and lost than have never loved before.
Yes.
Better to have a good season and lose than to have not another season.
It is. All right, let's go. We'll take one last thing with the Rangers here before we shift to NFL picks, which I see you guys want us to get to, but there's only 2 games to pick here. So, and I think you know where I'm going to go on each of them. So we'll see with Trocheck, getting back to Trocheck, we'll see where he goes. I don't think there's anyone that's really safe here. Maybe, Igor is. That contract's not getting moved. I would say Fox is safe. Maybe you look to hold on to Gavrikov because he's been so good and the contract isn't bad, but I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I'm hoping you're not sitting here saying Dan Girardi is a better signing than Panarin. How about conference finals, best point, total mismatch? Artemi Panarin is a better player than Dan Girardi. I'm not even going to go down this road. Joe Albanese, you got to trade Schneider. Braden Schneider has regressed this year. Braden Schneider has not had a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the sample size is 1 year. He has not had a good year. I think you absolutely are listening to offers on him. I'm not saying you have to get rid of him, but it's not a situation where I can't listen to an offer on Braden Schneider. Braden Schneider has had a thing. We'll put Jeff Adelson's thing. Please drop the NYR talk already and get to the NFL.
Wait, real quick though, like this is just, I mean, don't take any offensive at Ranger Nation, but it seems to be a common thread. This person's not playing good. Ship him out. We're getting rid of everybody. We're not going to have a team.
Mika, and I should take this. Mika's not going anywhere either. Mika, of course, has a no move clause, so he has total control. The year that Mika has had, like when we get to the end of the year and we have to vote on the Stephen McDonald Award, I would assume it's Mika Zibanejad. I understand there's no one that's like a clear unanimous. I'm going to have 99% of the votes, but I would think Mika Zibanejad is getting that thing, and he is going nowhere. I would agree with that. All right, conference picks. I'm annoyed. So on Saturday, was watching the game, the Buffalo-Denver game, and I was, for my wife's sake, cheering for the Bills, as she, I believe, was in the Josh Allen shirt. And I was annoyed they lost. And then an hour later, I was even more annoyed because all I really care about is that the Patriots don't move on, that Denver wins, and now Bo Nix is out. I mean, what a cakewalk. Now,
this has probably been the easiest Super Bowl victory any team will have. Path.
So the Patriots are 5.5-point favorites. I don't know that they cover that line. Like, to me, it's a lot, but I still think they win. So I'm taking the Patriots to win in Denver. The other game, I'll say spread wise, I was a little surprised that the Seahawks -2.5. I would think it would be more. Right now, the favorite, if you look at how everyone's playing to win, has got to be Seattle, I would assume. And I understand the Rams are good, and I understand the Rams went up there on a Thursday night back in December and played an amazing overtime game and can win in Seattle. They've proven that before. But I'm not messing with Seattle right now. I'm taking those points with Seattle. So I'm taking Seattle and New England to win. From a gambling perspective, I would take probably Denver plus 5.5. But I still think New England wins. But I would take Seattle -2.5. And you can chime in with your picks.
I mean, we can't go back in time, but Buffalo should be there. I mean, I think it was the next game or the next day where the Bears and the Rams game where like the exact same thing happened, where like the guy caught the ball, fell down, and then it came out and whatever. And they called it the right way in the Bears game the day after, right? So like, I can't go back in time. The Bills should be there. The Bills should win the whole their bracket, the AFC. Don't like that the Patriots are going to get a cakewalk in here, and I don't also like that Denver got they had like some lucky season.
It's annoying to me
Mhm.
because if I was a Bills fan, and look, you could argue about that call. I don't know enough about NFL officiating to tell you like it's definitively was right, definitively was wrong.
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen people complain and argue it either way, so I guess it's kind of like gray area, 50-50. But I mean, I'm annoyed if I'm the Bills because now you're going to watch the team you just lost to Denver probably get smoked
Yeah.
because they have. Now Joe is telling don't sleep on the backup quarterback. I hope so. I
I'd like to do
really
that.
look, Joe. The only thing I wish for now in the NFL,
Mhm.
I have one wish. I don't care the 4 teams who wins it. I just
Mhm.
cannot be the Patriots. If it's the Rams or Seahawks or Broncos, it's fine. Just do not be the Patriots. How the New York Jets? I was saying this the other day to my college roommate in Boston, who is a huge Patriot fan.
Mhm.
As the Jets, you've suffered for 15 years and you never made the playoffs. The Patriots go through like one bad year, hire a coach,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden a quarterback, and all of a sudden are now rebuilt and going
Yeah.
to the Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
I don't understand. It's just like it doesn't seem fair.
So I don't want them to win. I don't really want Denver to win. I think Matthew Stafford has been playing good ball, and the Rams. I can see the Rams winning, but also the Seattle Seahawks really turned things around with Sam Darnold. So like either of those teams, but the matchup I wanted to see in the Super Bowl, looking at the teams that made it to like the final 8, whatever, would have been Buffalo and the Rams. I think that'd be a good matchup.
Well, unfortunately,
Penn Allen versus Matt Stafford.
Don't encourage the Penn Allen crowd around here to do that anymore. I hear about it enough.
Mm-hmm.
We thank the Bamboozle Project for their sponsorship again. We will have some new gear coming up on there in the next couple of days, something that you guys have asked for. And we will also have the 20% off promo code as always, MYPB at checkout. So when you see that new item, I'm going to also tease this about the new item.
Yeah.
I did see the price point that it's at.
Mm-hmm.
It is very affordable.
Yeah.
And you guys have been asking for this because I wore it on a post-game recap.
The prototype.
I wore it. I'll give it away. If you saw a post-game recap about a week ago, I wore it, and you guys all asked for us to sell it. We are a man of the people, so if you want it, we're going to make it. It's going to be up on the site, and you could also then use MYPB and save 20% off what is already a cheap price.
On everything. So you get the shirt, some flip-flops, and
it is a great deal.
Out of this cold weather.
The Rangers, only 2 games, thankfully, between now and our next show. They are in San Jose on Friday night, and they are home against Boston on Monday. We are supposed to get some Armageddon blizzard thing on Saturday or Sunday and Monday. So I assume the game will be on Monday night. But if they want to like save us the mental anguish of watching a Ranger game, I'm all for it.
We need these snowstorms on like Monday or Tuesday night, not Saturday nights.
No, I know, right? We need them during the week.
Yeah.
Ed is saying Super Bowl pick next week. We'll talk UFC, Royal Rumble, Daytona 500. I know nothing about UFC, Royal Rumble, or Daytona 500.
Well, it's a good time to learn.
Yeah,
nothing else to watch.
We were talking with the producers here before about like what we're going to cover, and I don't know. We haven't decided in February if we're going to cover the Olympics and the U.S. hockey. But it's like, what are we going to do here in March?
Talk about all these retooling people. We're going to go get all the new tools and new toys. We're going to hopefully acquire.
Or Dennis is saying we'll talk about HTC. There'll be a lot to talk about with HTC, which is the beer league team I plan.
No way.
We thank you for your listenership today. Joe, thank you. Love the show. Good to have you. We are on Wednesdays every 10 in the morning. Although I see you on our Instagram page, you can DM us anytime. We will talk to you next week.